at all my favorite people.
Good
Yes,
morning.
cool.
How's everybody doing? Maureen, how you doing with that smiling face? You're looking awesome.
I'm just watching the snowfall. I'm glad I'm inside.
It's
How is it by
fantastic.
you?
We've got about an inch and a half maybe by now.
Okay.
Happy anniversary, Melissa. Didn't I see something like that? Anniversary? Wrong, Melissa.
Yeah, no, I don't have one. Maybe the other.
Well, happy anniversary anyway.
Happy pre-anniversary.
And make one up.
And happy birthday
Happy
to everybody
anniversary.
that had a birthday this year. Happy birthday.
I had a birthday. Maybe that's what you're thinking of.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Just getting older and older every year.
Dennis, feel
Congratulations to that.
better.
Well, I'm glad that you guys all hopped on and pivoted today. I figured we would do it on Zoom only. That way, nobody needed to travel in the weather. This is going to be an open forum, and I do have some things to go over, but I'd like to just talk a little bit about winterizing your business, what that means to you, and maybe some steps that you guys have already taken and put in place to help you get through, the dip and the challenging months. So I'm going to open it up. So if anybody, as you know, any of my classes or anything I teach, just unmute yourself and let's just have a conversation, right? Hey, Chris.
Hey,
So what is anybody doing at this moment to help prep your business for any kind of a shift?
hey,
I'm reaching
Karen.
out to my customers for Thanksgiving and making sure everybody has a nice Thanksgiving. So I'm reaching out to everybody that way.
Okay. Hey, Ro.
Hi. Yeah, I feel like we've learned so much in Bold, different stuff, and that's all great. But unless you put the time in your calendar to actually implement it, and I think that's what I'm working on, actually scheduling time to do the things that I learned during Bold.
Nice.
Okay, so you're taking the time and the opportunity now to get your calendar in order, right? So you coming into
Yes.
the new year fresh with better systems, maybe with operations.
Yes.
Oh, that's a huge one. Does anybody on the call need help with their calendar and time management?
None of us ever. You're funny,
I do.
Kristen.
No more than usual, put it that way.
A little bit more than usual. Kristen, what were you going to say?
No, I'm just saying all of us, have issues with our calendar, I think all the time. So this is a good time to get back into it. I'm trying to get through my pile of files from my closings this year to make sure that my holiday lists are ready, because every year I do the handwritten card. It takes me a long time. But it drives up business every single year. And then come January, it's time to reach out to all the people who you sold with in the year to say, hey, tax time's coming. Here's a copy of your HUD statement so that you have that for your taxes. And is there anything you need? Any contractors that you might, need. And it's the time when you start calling people that you haven't talked to in a while.
Well, Kristen, just in relation to this, your database actually is a primary driver for your business. Your
The
database
only-
and your referrals, right? It's
only.
it's the
I
only
don't pay for-
driver.
Yeah, I don't pay for leads. Never.
Never. Kristen does not spend a dime on any other services. Kristen farms for database, and she does it like very intentionally. So I was speaking with Michael just in relation to the Christmas cards. I was talking to Michael. He wants to do a card day at the office to get together with everybody, get those sent out. And what I was telling him was maybe some different systems could be implemented the upcoming year. What I started doing is going to BJ's at the end of the year, Chris. We would go and get all the cards for the next year.
Yep.
And as the year was going through, part of my closing checklist was to actually get my card written out for that person, whether they're closing in January, February, March, and putting it in my Christmas card box that I could just send out at the end of the year. So that way it took that pressure off of just having to do it constantly for those couple days. But Kristen and I were very intentional about it. So there's that follow-up again where you're going to send out the card, then you're going to follow up with maybe your HUD or your settlement sheet as a resource to your database. So those are things that need to be happening during the winter and prepping yourself to assist your clients through any changes they're going to have the upcoming year. You want to keep being top of mind, right?
Right. So it's in addition to just saying hello and being grateful for the service, but I go back from when the cards that I write, you know, I'm in hundreds right now and they're handwritten, and we're going back to the first day I went in business. So it's gotten, you know, it's built from there. And I also will always send cards to the people who bought my listings, because those people, I've actually sold 2 pieces of business this year from that very scenario, where someone just, I guess, wasn't communicated with their own agent. And I try to keep in touch with everybody. So it's been years, but it's kind of funny to go back into the homes that you've already sold, you know, fast forward a couple of years, and I'm grateful for it. It's a nice feeling.
It is. And Kristen, the key of this one is the handwritten card. Honestly, if you ask Terry Langan, who is an agent with us out of our Albrightsville office, Terry actually was my client. Terry was on the buyer side of purchasing one of my foreclosures. Okay. Terry became my client from me going to the closing and representing the seller at a high level. And then they received a handwritten Christmas card. And when they did, Terry told me her husband said, that's our agent that we're using from here on out. And I represented them as investors for a long period of time before, you know, Terry got her license, and now she's here with us. So you really don't know the impact that something like that could have.
Right. And an
So
interesting
who's being
thing,
intentional?
yeah, the interesting thing about it too is it's also gotten me a couple of off-market deals. Like I've had a few off markets this year, because I would send a card to somebody. I have one in particular that sold a house in Arrowhead Lake. It was an off market for 350,000, and he knew the buyer. We put it together. It was, you know, it didn't get advertised, but I got both sides of it, and you know, it was a successful settlement. And now that buyer is going to stay on my list as well. So hopefully, with any luck, I'll be selling it for a third time.
Yeah. See, I love the orphan buyers too, Chris. Do you know that? So besides just sending it to whoever purchased my property, I also send cards to realtors I worked with during the transaction. Thank you for such a great transaction that we had at whatever. Really loved working with you. Because I'm going to tell you what, if you received that as an agent, you would feel grateful, wouldn't you? Like, wow, they actually remembered me. And I've created a lot of relationships that way. So I think what we need to focus on is who actually is intentional with what they're doing during the holiday season. I know some people have client events and they run. First, we got to discuss lead generation levers, right? For your business, you should have 4 lead generation levers that you utilize. Your first one should be, the highest point should be your database. Then the next one could be whatever it is that you're good at, whether that's the social media, door knocking, maybe it's the high-end client events, maybe it's open houses, whatever. And then you have the fourth, but your first 2 lead generation levers are where you should be spending and the most amount of time to cultivate and the most amount of money, really, and pouring into those things. So you need to get clear on what those levers look like for you and your business, and what it is that you're good at, that you would consistently do to generate business.
I'm walking to the office. I've been getting some, I look crazy, but I put the camera on. Anyway, I just washed my hair, so excuse me.
We just love you. It doesn't matter.
I've been getting direct messages from people in my sphere about my posts that I've been making online. And it's been like, Allie, I don't need to buy a house now, but man, you really make me want to buy a house. Or, wow, I didn't know this about that. If I ever bought a house, I would have never known not to buy a car beforehand or whatever. And I'm also getting posts like, oh my gosh, I love the content you're putting out there. I love the information. You look great. So I'm obviously thanking them, but I'm also asking them to repost if they can't use that information right now. But can you share this post? Can you repost all my stuff so that way it can reach out to people who do need to hear it? So I'm getting, it's like I've been saying in bold, everything is like below the surface, and I'm trying not to get frustrated or anxious, right? There's movement, but you know, you kind of want that tidal wave, but it's building up. And I'm working on the database as well. Like I'm chipping away at it, getting reviews, telling people what's going on. So I'm doing it. I'm a little kind of like bottleneck, like, come on, let's just get something already. But I'm doing it.
I might have some tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you, maybe to help us out to generate some business here during this time. So when I was doing some research for this class on winterize your business, you know, we're already in November. Your business, you should have a business plan. If you don't, please let's get on a calendar to do one so you know what you need to do next year. But it was like I started doing some research and doing some investigation just in terms of different areas. We forget that we're selling a lifestyle here in the Poconos. Let me show you my screen. Okay, would you guys mind if I screen shared? No? Okay. Hold up one second. So I just started up yesterday doing some Google searches. Application share. So we live in the Poconos and we really don't promote the lifestyle as much as we should, right? So I was thinking of ways for you guys to drum up some business during the winter time, just in terms of, in addition to your lead generation levers and what it is that you do to market your business. So I just started typing in some things into Google. I want to know where the best waterfalls are in Pennsylvania. That's something that somebody would say, right? That's a Google search. Raymondskill Falls, Bushkill Falls, this is what comes up. Dingman's Falls. We have 3 out of like the top 10 right here in the Poconos and the best waterfalls in all of Pennsylvania. Then I typed in, what are the best resorts in Pennsylvania, right? Best resorts. Hotel Hershey's #1. Lodge at Woodlock is #2. And this is from travel.usnews.com. So we've got the Lodge at Woodlock, we've got Mount Airy Casino, we've got Mohegan Sun, we've got Skytop Lodge, we've got Pocono Palace. Now, were you guys aware that they, like, you know, 4 out of the top 10 resorts in Pennsylvania are here in the Poconos?
Makes sense.
So then I said, well, hold on a second. We're part of the Appalachian Trail. So what's this all about? Let me hear some more information. The Appalachian Trail is the most famous hiking footpath in the entire world that draws more than 3 million visitors each year that travel the entire Appalachian Trail. Are we promoting this kind of stuff out there, or are we engaging with the communities that this stuff is important to? So I just did another search, ski cabins for sale. Kristen, are you talking?
I was just making a comment. You're going to get a million things that pop up under that search, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting to me is how are other areas that are resort based and are 4-season communities like we are, how are they actually marketing properties and what are they doing to promote this? So then I've got this snow only. This is actually ski properties for sale. This is some place that you guys could promote and actually advertise your property on. I went to location in the United States and it has all of these ski resorts, but I don't see Blue Ridge. I don't see anything that we have here. So if I was a skier and I'm looking for a cabin or a chalet and I end up on this site, I'm not even seeing anything that's in our area. So then I ended up over here in Norway.
Hmm.
All right, just bear with me. Take this journey with me, guys. Take it with me. I know we're gonna go around, but just be with me with this.
Mhm.
Because I was looking at ski cabins for sale. And I want to see what these realtors are, how are they promoting this? So this looks like something that we would have in the Poconos, right? It's a little chalet for $252. Can you take the second and just actually read this description that they're putting together? When I was doing this research, I went in and I started looking at all these cabins. If I was an avid skier and that was a ski, I wanted to actually market to the outdoors community. How am I going to do that? And what are other people doing? Well, this is what other people are doing across the country, across the globe. They're actually catering to international purchasers that are looking for, because that's part of their lead gen and that's part of their base is going to be like maybe out of country investors that are looking for a chalet in Norway. But I could read all of this and know exactly what I'm going to be walking into. It talks about the cabin, but then it talks about living in the cabin and what's there in the community and what is going on in those neighborhoods. Does anybody find this helpful and a different way to look at this? Because to me, we live in such a spot that we take it so much for granted. It's like, oh, well, just go to the Poconos. We get people from New York, New Jersey, whatever, maybe Philly. This is a hub that's affordable for people, that has the best resorts, has the best hiking trail on they said the Pennsylvania part of the Appalachian Trail is one of the most beautiful for hiking enthusiasts.
Hmm.
We have the best resorts, the best family resorts. So if we want to drum up more business and we want to drum up more buyers and we want to drum up more sellers, wouldn't it behoove you to take a look at what is happening out there? Like this guy, as a busy real estate agent, I can encourage you to consider this opportunity. It's not often you find a place that's just as inviting as winter as it is in summer, offering a new adventure every day. Whether you're looking for tranquility, nature, like it just sounds like to me, you're selling me more than a cabin.
I was
I-
shocked by the detailed description you showed when you first went on that tab. And then you kept scrolling and scrolling, and there was more and more and more. And I think that that gives me a lot to think about because I love it here. I love enjoying all of the amazing things that we have, and I know that other people would too. It's just we talk about square footage or what amenities are in the community, and that's kind of it. You know, we give a little tiny little paragraph, but I tried to read most of this as you were scrolling down, and it just was like I could picture myself being there. And I know that other people, if we would take the time to do this and they took the time to read that it would make them make that call to schedule that showing or contact an agent to get in there, rather than just seeing the same old,
Hello?
this and this and this is available. You got 2 pools and a tennis court, and you know, nobody
Hello?
knows what else is nearby other than like Route 80.
Hello?
So
Jim,
thank
you
you.
need to mute.
Jim, can you
Sorry.
mute yourself?
Sorry.
So yeah, to me, it's we lose sight of the fact that we think our market is right here, or that we're just hey, 3-2 Taliesin Trails, 3-bed, 2-bath, great rental potential, whatever you're saying. That doesn't get me going on anything, like at all. To me, if I'm sitting around and I'm because now I'm going to look for a ski cabin, and this is what I'm going to look at, and I'm going to see all this other stuff out there. What's going to drive me to the area that has the best of what exactly it is I'm looking for? I'm looking for the nature surroundings. I'm looking for the resorts. I'm looking for it. Are we identifying that we're 2 miles from the Appalachian Trail? And then being really specific with our marketing to that industry. Are we marketing in you have 3 million people that are coming through here. Or 3,000, whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. They're all walking through here. They love it. How are we getting in front of those people and showing them that you could, potentially have a home here? So
That's
to
how
me,
I
like,
ended up here. That's how I ended up here. We had a timeshare. We came out here for vacation at Shawnee. And I was like, oh my gosh, it would be amazing to just live here. But I didn't realize, I know it sounds silly, but 20 years ago, I didn't realize like you can actually live here. In my
Right.
head, I was like, oh, this is Shawnee. Like, where would I even move to? This is all tourist. Like, it's not for me. This isn't for me to move to or whatever. And then we did some research and we found some townhouses, right? And it just baffled me that I could get a house across the street from Shawnee Ski and so close to everything. And I had some people that were like, locals that were like, well, how do you like it? I'm like, oh, I love it. It's like I'm on vacation every day. And they're like, well, that'll change. This is 20 years ago. That'll change, the bitter moms. And it hasn't. When I drive I've moved from North Slope 3, but when I drive up to North Slope 3 to see my parents, that one part on Hollow Road where the trees come together and you see that barn to your left, like it's very vivid in my mind. And people that have bought here, my family, they say the same thing. Allie, now we understand why when you're in New York for a function, you would leave at 1 a.m. and drive home. We understand it now because when we see those two mountains, the closer we get to the gap, the more our shoulders go from here to here to here to here. So I moved. I wanted this. I didn't think I could get it because I didn't understand real estate here. I didn't understand that I could actually own here. And it's 20 years later, and I still marvel when I'm driving up to houses up 447. You have that creek there. Like, it's just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and Allie, to your point, so you experienced this when you moved here, right? You didn't know that it was here until you got here. The people we're selling homes to, me, myself, my database has told me, oh my goodness, I didn't know all this was around. And just this is a whole different way of life. So to me, we need to elevate and get more intentional with what we're doing in terms of our marketing capabilities. And now we're in a service-based market that we need to actually be representing these sellers at a higher level, I believe, and broadening out their exposure to people and really promoting this area as a force and a hub to drive the growth of our market. Because that's going to be our job, is really to sell our area at this point. Other people in other areas are. So like what would be, yes, logistically, location wise, yeah, we're great. We're right by New York and New Jersey for a quick hop, skip, and a jump. But Allie, a little video talking about your specific experience being here and how you feel 20 years later would resonate more with the hearts and minds of people that are looking to do that now. I don't care that 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that you're throwing up there doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. But Allie and Kristen's cat gives me the warm and fuzzies.
Sorry.
Hearing that story about how you didn't regret your decision, that 20 years later, this is still the place that you want to be. Are we approaching our business in that way right now? DC, you're saying yes.
I do. I just sent you an email of the cards that I'm doing, and I'm I want to increase my consistency on this, but it's and with my coach, I'm working on a little bit ways to put in. Oh, I'm not just hiking. I'm actually a real estate agent too, please, But
Right.
these are the kind of things that I really enjoy putting together and trying to make them more informational and enjoyable.
I'll
But-
share the screen if you don't mind, David.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is a template that David's sending out regarding the view of the lake at Tobyhanna State Park. That's awesome.
So I'll send these out periodically when, you know, a few of them have been from the Appalachian Trail, or, you know, I was up at the park, that park, and I was up at, well, what's the name of the park above Camelback Mountain, you know, try to send something out for that, you know, just, and trying to make it informational, like, you know, hey, this is not just a pretty picture, but this lake is 170 acres and it has this kind of fish in it. And, you know, it's one of different state parks or whatever it is, you know.
David, you love to, you're a photographer, so you love to take photos. You're an avid outdoorsman. So you're incorporating doing the things that you love during this season with lead generation. And that's what I want to really get clear on here, is that the winter is here. And this is the time where we're going to be sitting around and wondering where our phone's not ringing, what's going on. I need to get business. I need to get business. And I know it because I hear it every year around this time. And come January, it's going to be everything is dead. And you're going to get yourself worked up. Well, guess what? You're going to be spending the winter and the holidays doing a lot of really cool things, hopefully. And just be more intentional with where you're going and what you're doing, and just incorporate what you're loving with how do I generate business from that. Whether or not you're a big wine connoisseur and you're at the wineries in the area, why aren't we promoting those and showcasing that with some videos on social and getting super intentional with it? If I know I'm going to be there anyway because I want to hang out with my buddies, why not piggyback something in with that so I'm helping to drive my business? If we could stop looking at it like two separate things and just, I want to share with everybody the really cool stuff I'm doing, that'll attract the people that you need. Does that make sense? Or am I just telling you everything you already know?
Of course it makes sense. It's the implementation. That's always the hardest part.
Yeah, yeah. And it was great. That's so much what Bold was about this year was, you know, doing these little videos, or, you know, taking a picture, sending a post out, something that, you know, really, we don't have to overthink it. Just spend a couple minutes on it and boom, get it out there, and then get back to your life, you know, get back to
Yeah.
other aspects of your life.
I was telling my daughter, I was showing my daughter my videos, and she was just like, oh my gosh, that's so cringe. That is so cringe. I need to help you. That's cringe. And I laughed because I thought of Bo at Bold. And in my head, I could have processed that in so many different ways. I could have decided to just retreat it back into my shell and not put myself out there on video the way I've been doing. And yet I was thinking of Bo and him talking about that guy, Kozak or Pozak or whatever. And in my head, it was like, okay, well, then I'm on the right path. Then I'm on the right path because this is the first step to every single successful person that has found success on online social media posts are these cringe videos. So I've taken the first step. And so I almost retreated and I decided I was going to celebrate my cringy first steps and focus on obviously progressing, but putting it out there. It really is just a matter of literally just doing it.
Yeah,
Even if
put,
you don't.
put all the bad ones out there, they said.
Mhm. And just
Put all
remember,
the bad ones out there.
yeah, you know, don't let two things, don't let perfection be the enemy of good enough. And, you know, something I want to remind myself of when I'm doing these things is everybody stinks when they're a beginner, you know, relative to how they are when they're an expert, you know, so, do the best
Well,
you can.
I think too, I mean, social media, let's say that's not someone's lead generation lever. Let's say that's not it. They're not social media savvy, but I like to go to a winery. I like to go to wineries around town. Why would I not incorporate me going into these wineries with events? So now I'm maybe going to host client events at these wineries, or I'm going to invite them to my open houses or whatever it looks like. But I'm going to have a wine tasting party that's going to bring in the local businesses with my database. Like just taking it a step further to say, I'm not going to just go here and sit around and waste my time. I'm going to be intentional with implementing growth in everything I'm doing because I'm going to be doing it anyway. Is there something that you guys feel that you could implement right away in your business that could help you generate a little bit more during this shift?
I know in Bold we talked a lot about, social media and everything. That's what it was all about. And I was just talking with Robert yesterday about how sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to post, or I feel like I don't want to be too real estatey, but I don't want to just be posting whatever where they don't know that I'm an agent. But I'm really glad we had this call and talked about the lifestyle more. And it's like, it was right in front of my face the whole time, but that's something that I already so regularly do and so regularly capture for myself. And this whole thing just made me feel like, why am I not sharing it? And the answer has been right here the whole time. So thank you.
Very
You're
nice.
welcome.
I think this is a good time of year also, like on your Facebook page or website, to post some of the holiday things that are going on, especially in the area, to, come on out and enjoy skiing if we have it, but there's just so much going on festivity wise with the holidays that we should be promoting that as well, especially this time of the year.
Mhm.
Absolutely, it's gorgeous. I mean, Skytop, look at, they have gorgeous stuff going on up there. But it's, if that's going to be your events and promotions of the activities in the area, if that's going to be your lead generation lever, then you have to be consistent with that throughout the year. It can't be a one and done. So it could be, yeah, I'm going to promote this stuff and I'm going to just get stuff posted and send that out. But what am I doing in addition to that?
Exactly.
Just ask for business. I think, like, not overcomplicating it. One of the hardest parts is, because I haven't been consistent in staying in touch with my database, it's a lot more difficult for me to call and just ask for business. But I do find that the people that I speak to regularly, I can just be like, hey, I need to make some money. Who do you know? And they're like, Allie,
Yeah.
let me think about it. And that's of course with my intimate circle, right? But that conversation will progress and change depending on who you're talking to. But sometimes it just comes down to just calling people and asking.
Well, now's the perfect time, and that's why we're talking about it, because now there's really no excuses to not reach out to the people that you haven't, or that have maybe gone by the wayside here. Because you have multiple reasons. You have, all the holidays are coming up, and it's just that nice touch to say that you care. I'm going to tell you that I received something the other day. I received an invitation, and I'm going to talk about follow-up. And I did save this because I wanted to show it to you guys. So let me pull it up. So I've gone to this jewelry store, right? This jewelry store, Rose and Rosa, that's in East Stroudsburg, and they're also doing a launch in Stroudsburg. The owner of Rose and Rosa, I designed her house when I worked at LTS. So I was responsible for her construction of her new home during that time. I've continuously supported her business by going there and getting on her mailing list or whatever. She doesn't send out much. She doesn't spam me a lot, but I did get this. And I thought, wow, I felt like, oh my goodness, made me feel like, even though I know I'm on a campaign, it just made me feel like, oh, I'm getting a personal invite from somebody that I know. And this was just their celebration for their new location, their grand opening. Bring this invitation and say receive an additional 10%, $10 off your purchase. And I just thought that this was just such a nice thing. You're inviting me, there's a little giveaway, I could get a free gift, and I felt like really personal, even though I know it's a campaign. But what awesome follow-up there, huh? Are we
Erin, it's
sending out?
Megan.
Very
Hi,
cool.
Megan.
I love that. Just thinking through what you're saying today, I made a note. I have several people who relocated to the area from quite a distance. And during their home buying process, I always tell them about fun stuff that happens in the community. But I'm going to we have a parade here that's pretty popular. I'm going to reach out and text those individuals and remind them that the parade's going and tell them, to make sure that they have the information so that they could start to enjoy the community. So I think a personal touch like that would go a long way.
Absolutely. And then about the social media too, don't forget when you're promoting these places that you're tagging them in these social media posts. Because then those businesses are now seeing that you're promoting them as well and you're showing up on their feeds. So if you're tagging the Appalachian Trail, you're tagging Blue Ridge Winery, you're tagging whatever, then now their followers are seeing what you're putting out there as well. And you're being really more intentional with driving business and growth to the community as a whole. The housing is a secondary that comes with. You sell the lifestyle, you could sell the house. Rafaelina, were you going to say something? No?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. You made a little noise. I wasn't sure.
No.
I did put the link over to the side just on what I found with the website. I know that it's, in another country, but I do feel that it's absolutely important for us to take a look at this stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you, I literally just Googled for 30 minutes yesterday. Best this in Pennsylvania, best child-friendly resorts, best water parks, best this, best that. It literally, the Poconos will show up multiple times on any one of these searches that you're going to do. So pick one that you absolutely love to do and that you promote your lifestyle. I don't care whether it's you're sitting in a house on 30 acres in the middle of the woods. That's something that someone else wants out there. So how would I know to call you?
So Karen, after we're making these posts, and we're showing them they can do this, this, and this, at any point during that, are we offering our services?
Absolutely. You're offering your services throughout it. Like I said, you're making posts, you're tagging it. I'm a local realtor in the area. I'm going to cover I'm heading down to Skytop to see what the new lights at Christmas time. Look at this beautiful scenery that's going on here. If you're interested, give me a call. They're having an event at Christmas for photos with Santa this day. I'll be there. I'd love to see you. And then guess what? You're there and you're wearing a KW t-shirt or a KW quarter zip or whatever. And you're maybe, they're getting involved with the community.
Thank you.
Allie, you go to salsa, right? Tying salsa into something you love that you're going to be doing anyway. Stop thinking of lead generation as this heavy weight on your shoulders that I have to do this for an hour every day and cold call. If you're a great cold caller, great. And if that's the way you get your business, fantastic. But I'm going to tell you, most of you aren't great cold callers. So you're not. I know that from just things that people have shared with me. It's not the way they would like to conduct business, but you have to be generating it somehow. So make it fun and go do that.
I got a buyer from my salsa class. I got a referral from my salsa class, and I got a listing at the Giant supermarket at 9 o'clock at night because I had a KW shirt on. And she was just like, you work at KW? Yeah. Well, I gotta list my house. I was like, okay, let's meet. So yeah.
Right.
So Karen,
Yes, Rafaelina.
so yeah, I started doing that. I made a video yesterday for the Kalahari Spa. I invited one of my sources for coffee to talk about business. She is the founder of Latin Nexus Network event. She wants to do something together. So I recorded what we're having breakfast. I just have to post it. I'm not gonna even look at this video because I know I'm gonna critique myself, and I promise.
Don't even look at it. Just post that thing.
I promise, Bo, I'm just gonna do what is that every day, bad videos, but every day. So I'm gonna actually post it right now. The Kalahari was amazing yesterday. I'm gonna tag them in this morning cafe on 209 going through to Bushkill over there. And yeah, I started doing that to tag people and businesses that I go. Because I'm okay calling, but I'm a person to go out there and talk to people. And I have to do these videos. I'm doing it. And I'm gonna stick with it. So
I can't wait to see them, Rafaelina. Just
I-
one little additional bit of advice with the videos, and like Rosalie asked me, you know, how are you tying business into this? Here's the example. Rafaelina did a video at Kalahari. Well, that's beautiful. I see the resort. That's fantastic. Now, maybe part of the next video is, here's 5 homes that are available close to the Kalahari Resort, and I'm doing video tours of them. They range in price from $250 to $400, and here's a couple of homes that are available that are within 5 miles of this resort. See,
Ooh.
it's taking it to the next step
Yes.
and the next level.
That sounds great. And I want to be like more like informative of what is there here around for the people that come here from New York, New Jersey, and they don't know we have luxury spots and beautiful cafe that you can just go
No.
there. They
They
don't
think
know.
we live in the woods with the buckets of water that we bring to our
Yes.
houses. Yeah.
Yes. And these beautiful places. I love SkyType. I actually go there, have lunch and network, and I want to feel rich when I make my phone calls. So I do go there a lot.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about, Rafaelina, because we
Yes.
actually have these big resorts. We have these big natural landscape around us that's driving people here to our area already. Like
Yes.
we already know they're coming here. Now we just have to capture those. So lead generation by sitting here at this office might not be the best thing for you during the winter. Maybe it's going to some more of these events out there that these resorts are showing, and being super, super intentional with, I'm going to shake out and get some lead gen out of this because I'm having conversations anyway. And I want to do this for my own life so I don't have to be in this cul-de-sac of shit where I got to make these calls, make these calls, make these calls.
Yeah. Let me post the video from yesterday.
Post the video from yesterday.
Yes.
But it's that incorporating of that to then the market, and what does that look like? If I want to go to this spa, I want to be close by. Oh my goodness, if I'm going to Great Wolf Lodge, I'm spending a ton of money. If I'm going to Kalahari with my family for a week, I'm spending a ton of money. Maybe I could tie something in here. Hey, for the price of 3 Kalahari vacations, whatever, you could have a mortgage here at this home. I don't know. You guys are smarter than me in this regard, and you'll know how to drive your own business. But I just wanted to give you some ideas on how to navigate through just a different kind of a market.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Kristen, do you have anything to say?
I just, in thinking about Allie and her videos, I happen to love them because it's more human. Nothing annoys me personally as a person than watching over the top self-promotion BS videos. I like the fact that you come in who you are. You talk about whatever topic with conviction, you're you. And that's part of the whole process of like aligning with an agent, is trusting the person that you're going to be working with. Keep
Thank you
sending
for
them.
saying-
Don't listen to your daughter.
Yeah. Well, see,
YouTube
because
hates-
I know how great all of you guys are. Like, I know you all personally, and I just don't see it always out there in the world. So it's like, guys, what are we doing? Put more of you in here, because I'm attracted to you guys and what you're doing and your personalities. The world out there is just going to be bombarded with, these realtors underselling, undercutting, doing whatever they need to do, saying whatever they need to say, and going to be really slick about their marketing. We got to capture their hearts and their minds, but we got to capture their hearts too in order to get their business.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to be able to say you can do all these wonderful things, and then the other part is to implement, being able to be the trusting advocate, the fiduciary. We've learned, Karen and I have learned a lot about being a fiduciary over the last few weeks, you know, with some challenges.
I
So
am
let's-
the poster child for a fiduciary right now.
Yes. Yes, you know, but I like the videos. I like when it's just it's a human being talking about whatever's going on, but with authority. You know, Allie speaks truth and she speaks what she knows. And you know, I don't see you dressed up in stiletto heels. Thank you. And you know, with the little real estate outfit on, you know, and I enjoy that. So thank you.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, YouTube hates Allie's videos, but there's nothing they can do to stop her.
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
But
kind of like you're getting a preview of what it's going to be like when you work with that person. So when you're listening to Allie and watching her videos, you know, that's her. That's who you're going to get when you meet with her. But the worst thing I think that can happen is if you portray something online and you're completely different in person. And that's on every level, you know?
well, yeah,
Yeah, there's a
but it's
reason for everybody there. Like you grow up, especially back in the day, there was this thing with tattoos, right? Tattoos.
Mhm.
Don't put tattoos where people can see them. People with neck tattoo. I mean, you know, so yeah, there's some people that will get polarized, right? And yet they tell a story, and there are other people with similar stories that may feel uncomfortable, feel that they can't, the person that's representing them has their head so far up their behind, they can't really identify with that particular buyer. So be you and bring it because your buyers will find you. Or your
exactly
sellers, even your sellers. Like we keep talking buyers, but the people out there will find you.
like Kristen. Kristen, you're big into animal rescue, right? Right?
Yes.
Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
So Kristen, because I know you're not going to be out there promoting all these videos. I know you personally, and I know you're not going to be like posting yourself every day doing something. But you're in your heart, you're big in the animal rescue world, right? So what
Absolutely.
about really focusing more intentionally on that with, hey, here's some properties, look at the space that you could have for whatever, and connecting with some rescues and organizations and actually marketing in that capacity. I'm saying take what you love and just do more of that, and your people will find you. But you got to be intentional more with it now, especially like we're the drivers of this market. We're the drivers in our industry with our office. So why don't we get a little bit more creative here and let's lead the charge in showing how great it is and why we all live here and why we chose to be here. We all offer something different. And that's what makes everybody's business unique. I know it because I know you guys. But when I see it out there, I don't see it. I don't see it in your marketing. Except for Allie. No, I'm just,
There's always room for improvement. And I will say, you know, I know that I remember as a new agent coming in, and this was years ago, I was completely and utterly overwhelmed by everything. I felt like I had to do all this stuff. And it's
Right.
like, my God, you know, there's not enough time in the day, you know? And then you realize that there's going to be things, like you said, that you're good at certain things, not good at other things, things that speak to you more. And those are the ones that you run with, you know?
yeah, you got to
Everybody
do
has a
less,
superpower.
do less more. Do
Mhm.
less more now. Like do those things more because we're going to be going through that more stressful time where we're, you know, holidays, funds, people are going to be short and this, that, and it's just all this stuff coming at you. Spend more time doing the things you love to do, but be more intentional about just getting the business. If you love to hike the Appalachian Trail, connect with communities of people that love to do that, and then just make that your thing. If you have, like I was talking to Marika, why doesn't she's a snowboard instructor at Camelback. Why doesn't she offer up and start bringing in her client database and say, hey, free lessons with me for my database, come up on Friday or whatever that looks like. But it's something that she wants to do and loves to do anyway. So bring some people along that journey with you. That's how you're going to get the business. Like, wait, I went snowboarding with my realtor this past weekend. If you're looking for a mountain home, let me give her a call.
Right. And just communication, just a few times, for me, it could always be better, but a few times a year, just touching base, and a lot of times what I've made a habit of is if I'm driving in a neighborhood and I pass a house that I might have sold, I'll call that person and just be like, oh my God, I just passed your house. I thought of you. They love that. They absolutely love that. And it creates another dialogue,
Yeah.
just little things, that maybe to me, I do my best business in the car. So what can I do when I'm driving around,
Well, speaking of the car, so because it is winterize your business, so just in logistically making sure that you have some stuff in your car. I know you guys all know this, but just that you're prepped and ready for when you're going out there with your de-icer, with maybe you have some rock salt in the car. I've personally gotten stuck in a driveway showing my client a house. Okay, I can't even tell you the embarrassment that happened there. But so you have your stuff, you have little snack bars, you have your water with you, and you're prepped and ready to go out there in the world. So what else do you have in your emergency kit, Kristen?
Always have cat litter. Fortunately, I always have some. So my cat litter, my little shovel, I always bring an extra pair of boots and socks. I always leave them in case your feet get wet.
The big thing is there's no heat on in a lot of houses now. There's no heat that's going to be on. So are we prepping our clients for some of these homes are going to be cold?
That's a very big deal. Yeah, because
Colder inside than it is out. It's my first year of freaking real estate. Oh my gosh, with all those foreclosures, it's
yes.
actually colder inside the house than it is outside.
Yes. And letting your clients know that. I mean, I have a funny story. I won't engage everybody in it now, but ask me about it. It was awesome. And but no, my client was completely unprepared despite the fact that I took the time to tell them how to dress. I said, I'm going to be dressed for the weather. And well, I'll just remember we pulled up to the very first house and there was a snowdrift right above. It was a foreclosure. The snowdrift was waist high. The client was like, how are we going to get there into the house? I'm like, we're gonna walk through. Of course, you want to see it, we're here. That's what we're here for. But just having all that, some water, making sure when you leave the house, your gas is full. That's a big thing. I always make sure I have gas in the car. I don't want to have to stop. I don't want to get stuck. And then, oh my God forbid, I don't have a full tank of gas.
And the de-icer, like Robert said, and like maybe a little shovel, because I want to tell you from the foreclosure end, here's how this looks for foreclosures, is when there's a snowstorm that happens, we need to put in a request to the asset managers for emergency snow removal. So in order to order emergency snow removal, we physically need to drive to each of our properties and take a photo showing that we need snow removal. Okay. So we need to do that, and then they send out field service to do their sweep. It may not be cleaned out by the time you get, if you go, like it may not be clear. So you're calling the listing agent, asking them if it's done. Probably they're not going to know. They're going to say, field service has been ordered, but I'm not sure. But just having the wherewithal, just to think ahead with your clients and say, like, look at, we may be hitting some inclement weather, that this is going to be cold, this is going to be whatever, dress accordingly. We're going to probably have to trek through some snow. I have personally fallen over completely in snow drifts.
Yes. I've gotten stuck. My whole body has gotten stuck where I feel like I'm waving like one of those flags. It's just, I was laughing my butt off. But the other thing is, another big trick that I learned is park at the top of the driveway. Make the walk. Just park on the street at the top of the driveway. Right, Allie? I mean, come on now. And I've had clients that are like, yeah, I'm going to go in the driveway. It's going to be great. And then I've had clients get stuck. So it's because, if you have to walk a little, you got to walk a little. Be glad there's a house to show.
Yes. So yeah, Allie's got the folding shovel. But my intention of showing you guys this is I know, there's going to be snow days. You guys are going to be at home and you're going to be looking for some stuff to do. I just do some digging around online and literally do some research and see what else is happening out there. To stop looking at our immediate area and our immediate competition and start looking more regionally, start looking more across the state, and now like getting more in tune with how to develop your business and where that's looking to go. All right. That's all I've got.
I like this.
any of this was informative.
It was great, Karen.
Yeah, I really like this a lot. I like, not with the part like, don't overthink it, slip it into your day. We can add so much just by taking a pause and, putting a post out, or, taking a picture someplace and maybe saving that picture for, you see something real pretty, I know, like, I'm a photographer, right? So it's kind of comes a little more second nature to me, but you guys all have great eyes. You all know what's really pretty. So if you're out someplace and you see the sun shining on the snow somewhere, just take a picture of it and save it. And maybe that would be like your own Christmas card that you could make, but there's so much we can do to just, if we remember to do it.
Don't forget the funny things too. I mean, you go out sometimes and, I've taken pictures of driveways that look like the stairway to heaven. I've taken, beautiful sky photos, but then there's, I was showing a house and there was 2 gravestones. Like, wow, this isn't something you see every day. You get a lot of people that comment on those crazy things just as much as the beautiful and businessy type things. So that's.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the one house that was on Zillow? The first person that had photos with that goofy blow up dinosaur?
Yes.
And that thing went viral, just like he had that blow up dinosaur costume like in every photo. And that became this viral thing that agent got so much stinking traffic to that house for this ridiculous thing. But you know what? That agent was just being themselves. That was part of who they are. They're just a clown. And that's how they marketed it. And that went viral, and people that liked their style were gravitated towards that.
There's one right now on the MLS that has a Sasquatch playing video games and sitting in a pool and taking a sauna, and I think I saved it in my WTF file. Everybody knows I have one of those. I'll have to pull it out. It's just fun to look at.
As soon as I saw that, I thought you would have saved it in your file.
I did save it
I
because
did-
I have that file. I have
Yes.
the WTFs over my life.
That was a
business
great
life.
listing.
Go
I was
do
showing
that.
that to everybody.
What's that?
That was a great listing. I was showing it to everybody because of the
Yeah,
Joey
just 'cause it was-
Sasquatch pictures.
It was
Yeah.
so off the wall. Just anything that's weird. I love weird things. So you'll see if you follow me at all. I don't have a business page. I know that's sacrilegious. I just keep everything in my personal, because if, to me, if you're working with me, you're going to get me. So this is me, all things.
But if you're putting stuff out there, be more intentional with the tags. Tag these people, tag these other businesses, and start getting in a relationship. All right, sell the lifestyle, do what you love, be purposeful about it, and your people will find you. That's
Yep.
the nugget.
Sell the fun, sell the crazy, sell the good and the bad.
Yeah, but it's just, I feel like we're lacking in this area and we're the drivers. So let's drive it. Let's drive people here. Camelback, there's no reason for that place to be dead up there with all the stuff they have on the market. It's a great resort, a great area. I go to skiing in the Poconos or skiing in Pennsylvania, that doesn't even show up. So, all right, guys. Well, hopefully you took some stuff out of this, and I hope you're all bundled up and at home in your comfies, and that you're staying safe in the weather.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Happy
It was
Thanksgiving,
great to
everyone.
see you
Thank
guys.
you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.